The snow fell thick that December evening as Marcus Thompson stood at the doorstep of the Grand House on Elmwood Drive. His warm marine jacket did little against the bitter cold, and his hands trembled as he held his sleeping 4-year-old daughter Emma close to his chest. Behind the warm glow of windows, he could see the outline of a woman and 2 young girls decorating a Christmas tree. Marcus had been knocking on doors for hours. His truck had broken down 3 miles back, and every shelter in town was full. He had nowhere else to turn. Taking a deep breath, he raised his fist and knocked. The door opened slowly, and a woman in her late 40s stood before him. She wore a cream-colored sweater, and her eyes held a mixture of caution and concern. Behind her, 2 girls around 7 and 9 years old peeked out curiously. "I am so sorry to bother you, Marcus," began his voice cracking slightly. "My name is Marcus Thompson, and this is my daughter Emma. Our truck broke down, and we have been trying to find shelter for hours. Every place is full. I know this is asking a lot, but we just need somewhere warm for the night. I promise we will leave first thing in the morning." The woman studied his face, taking in the exhaustion, the desperation, and something else. Honor, perhaps, or the quiet dignity of a man who had clearly fought hard to avoid this very moment. Her name was Catherine Wells, and she had not built a successful consulting firm by making rash decisions. But something in the stranger's eyes reminded her of her own father, who had served in Vietnam. "Come inside," she said softly, stepping back. "You both look frozen." Marcus hesitated, unable to believe what he was hearing. "Are you sure?" Catherine nodded and called to her daughters. "Sophia, Lily, come help me get some blankets." The girls sprang into action with the easy generosity of children who had been raised to see people, not problems. As Marcus stepped into the warmth, he felt his legs nearly give out. Emma stirred in his arms, her small voice mumbling about being cold. Catherine led them to the living room where a fire crackled in the hearth. She gently took Emma from Marcus's arms and laid her on the sofa, covering her with a thick quilted blanket. Sophia, who was 9, brought a pillow, while 7-year-old Lily appeared with her favorite stuffed bear. For the little girl, Lily whispered, placing it next to Emma. Over the next hour, as Marcus thawed by the fire, Catherine made hot soup and sandwiches. She learned that Marcus had served 2 tours overseas and had come home to find his small construction business bankrupt after his partner disappeared with their funds. His wife had left shortly after, unable to handle the stress. For 6 months, Marcus had been rebuilding, trying to find steady work while caring for Emma alone. Tonight had been the breaking point. His truck, the last thing of value he owned, had finally died. "Why did you knock on my door?" Catherine asked as they sat in the kitchen, while the girls played quietly with Emma, who had woken up shy but smiling. Marcus looked down at his calloused hands. "Honestly," he said, "I saw you and your daughters through the window. You were laughing together, decorating that tree. I thought maybe someone who still believes in joy might have room for a little mercy." Catherine felt tears prick her eyes. She had worked so hard to build her company, to provide for her daughters after her own divorce 5 years ago. She knew what it was like to feel the ground disappear beneath your feet. That night, Marcus and Emma slept on the pull-out sofa in the den. But when morning came, Catherine made a decision that surprised even herself. "Stay," she told Marcus over breakfast. "Just for a few days until you figure things out. My office is in the basement, and I could use someone to help with repairs around here. The furnace makes strange noises and half the gutters are falling off." Marcus stared at her in disbelief. "I cannot take charity." "It is not charity," Catherine replied firmly. "It is work. You fix what needs fixing, and you have a place to stay. Fair trade." What Marcus did not know was that Catherine's company was struggling. A major client had just pulled out, and she was facing her own financial crisis. But she had learned long ago that sometimes the best way to solve your own problems was to focus on helping someone else. Over the following weeks, something remarkable happened. Marcus proved to be extraordinarily skilled. He fixed the furnace, repaired the roof, and rebuilt the back deck that had been sagging for years. But more than that, he brought a steady, calm presence to the house. He helped Sophia with her math homework, drawing on the engineering skills he had learned in the Marines. He taught Lily how to build things with creating a small bookshelf for her room. And Emma blossomed under the attention of her new friends. Catherine, meanwhile, found herself laughing more than she had in years. Marcus had a dry wit and a way of seeing the absurdity in everyday frustrations. When her computer crashed before a major presentation, he calmly talked her through recovering the files. When she was up at midnight, worrying about losing her business, he made coffee and listened. By January, Catherine's company had stabilized. A new client came through, and several old ones returned. Marcus had found a part-time job with a local contractor who was impressed by his work ethic. But neither of them talked about Marcus and Emma leaving. One snowy evening, as they all sat around the fireplace, Catherine finally spoke. "I have been thinking," she began. "This house has felt more like a home in the past 2 months than it has in years." Marcus looked up, his expression guarded. Catherine continued, her voice soft. "What if you did not leave? What if we tried this? All of us together. Not out of charity or obligation, but because somehow we have become something like a family." Marcus felt his throat tighten. He looked at Emma, who was giggling with Sophia, and Lily at Lily, who had started calling him Mr. Marcus with such affection. At Catherine, who had saved them with nothing more than an open door and an open heart. "I would like that," he said quietly. "Very much." As the snow continued to fall outside the house, on Elmwood Drive held something precious. Not perfection, but something better. A group of people who had found each other in their broken places and discovered that together they could build something whole. Sometimes mercy is not just about receiving. It is about the courage to ask and the grace to give. And sometimes a knock on a door in a snowstorm is not an ending, but a beginning. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below telling us about a time when a stranger showed you unexpected kindness. Your story might inspire someone else today.